Good day to you all. Welcome to the third lecture of UNCLOS. Today we'll discuss about regime of island. Let's begin. So if you want to know about island, we need to know about regime of island. So in UNCLOS article 121, it discuss about regime of island. It says that an island is a naturally formed area of land surrounded by water which is above water at high tide. So that means, so if you want to call some island as an island, we obviously that island has to be surrounded by water and it will be all the time above water at high tide. In the second clause it says that except as provided for in paragraph 3, the territorial sea, the contiguous zone, the exclusive economic zone and the continental shelf of an island are determined in accordance with the provision of this convention applicable to other land territory. What does it mean? It means that if you can establish a land masses within the water as an island, then that island will have all the maritime zones, which include territorial water, contiguous zone, exclusive economic zone, and continental shelf. So that's why you see that most of the country, the big nations, they, if they find a land masses within the water body, they want to claim it as an island and they want to claim all other maritime zones, right? In the article 121 in clause 3, it also says that rocks which cannot sustain human habitation or economic life of their own shall have no exclusive economic zone or continental shelf, right? So that means if you have a landmass which is within um, within a water body, then if that landmass cannot sustain any human habitation or economic life, then actually we cannot call it as an island. And as long as it is not an island, so it will not have any exclusive economic zone or continental shelf. So that's why you'll see that in a lot of country, big nations like China, USA, if they find a land masses within the water body, they want to call it as an island, right? So uh, what is the importance of that island? You see that if an island capable of making EEZ and continental shelf claims no maritime neighbors within 400 nautical miles, then what will happen? It will have a area of 400,000 431,014 kilometers square, right? So that whole area will which include EZ and exclusive and continental shelf, that whole area will be claimed by this island. Where if it is a rock, then what will happen? It will have only an area of 1500 kilometers square. So that's why you see that most of the country, they want to claim any land masses within the water as an island, right? So once while we are discussing about island and rock, obviously we need to discuss about the low tide elevation as well. So what is a low tide elevation? Article 13 of UNCLOS gives us the definition of a low tide elevation. A low tide elevation is a naturally formed area of land which is surrounded by and above water at low tide but submerged at high tide, right? So that means it will be that low tide elevation will be all the time submerged at the high tide. Where a low tide elevation is situated wholly or partly at a distance not exceeding the breadth of the territorial sea from the mainland or an island, the low water line on that elevation may be used as a baseline for measuring the breadth of the territorial sea. So that means if you have a low tide elevation, actually you can use it as a base point and it will actually increase your you can use it as a baseline, right? And in the clause 2 it says that where a low tide elevation is situated at a distance exiting the territorial sea from the mainland or an island, it has no territorial sea of its own. So if the low tide elevation is a is at a distance of more than 12 nautical mile, that time obviously it will not have its own territorial sea, right? So as this low tide elevation is used to create the base point. So sometimes they are called as parasitic base point. We'll see it in this picture. Here you see it is a coast of a country. Here we see we have got a lot of low tide elevation, small low tide elevation, right? So now here this low tide elevation, you see it is creating a 12 nautical mile territorial water, whereas as this low tide elevation is away from the territorial water, so this low tide elevation will not create uh, uh, any new territorial sea. So that's the thing the article 13 says, right? So let us see another animation how low tide elevation works. So here you see you have got land and you have got territorial sea, and here you have got 12 nautical mile from the land. uh, Now suppose you have got some low tide elevation 1 2 3 4, right? So you see this low tide elevation is within the territorial water, so it will be used as a base point, and which will actually uh, push our maritime boundary to the seaward side like that. You see, so this one and number 2, as it is within the 12 nautical mile uh, from our baseline, so these two low tide elevation will be treated as a base point, and actually that will push our territorial sea limit, right? Whereas this number 3 is not within the 12 nautical mile, so that's why this number 3 will not be treated as a base point, and it will not have any territorial sea. And number 4 will not also, right? So the country's new territorial water will look like that. You see, so you see due to low tide elevation 1 and 2, you see this country's the whole territorial water has increased, right? So that's the benefit of low tide elevation, right? So as we're discussing about island, the question comes, can we build our own island? The answer is yes. Obviously you can build your own artificial island or own island in your own maritime zone, right? Then, right, so that's why you'll see that you have got a lot of countries, they have got their own small island or offshore unit in their own maritime zone. However, this artificial island will not have their own um, maritime zone, right? So to claim for the maritime zone, obviously that island has to be naturally formed. That's the main reason, that's the main clause of an island, right? So a lot of country has created an artificial island. Article 60 discusses in depth about the artificial island. It says that in clause 1 it says that in the exclusive economic zone, the coastal state shall have the exclusive right to construct and to authorize and regulate the construction and operation and use of artificial island. Number B is installation or structure for the purposes provided for Article 56 and other economic purposes. That means they can create the installation or structure for maybe extracting oil, gas, or any other natural resources. So that's why you'll see that a lot of countries they have their own offshore units in their exclusive economic zone. And number C is installation and structure which may interfere with the exercise of the rights of the coastal state in that zone. So these are the three things actually a coastal state can perform in their exclusive economic zone. So it is their exclusive right. So as per the Article 60, clause 1, we can say that a coastal state can create their own artificial island in their exclusive economic zone. And you see, that's why a lot of country has created their own artificial island. I can give an example like China, Dubai. They have created their own artificial island, and these artificial island are being used for their economic purposes, right? So this is the picture of Palm Dubai. You see, they have created this artificial island within them in their own territorial water, in their own water, and but these will not have their own zone, right? So this Article 60 at clause 8, it says that the artificial island installation and structure do not possess the status of the island. they have no territorial sea of their own, and their presence does not affect the delimitation of the territorial sea and the exclusive economic zone or the continental shelf. So that means this artificial island will not have any uh, territorial sea, and it cannot be used for the boundary delimitation, right? So there's the but you can use those artificial island for your own economic purposes, right? Now article 60 clause 4 gives us another important uh, idea, and we call it a safety zone, right? So a lot of countries, they have got their artificial installation. Like I can give an example, Norway, then UK, they have got the artificial installation in their exclusive economic zone and territorial water, and this exclusive economic zone must tell to the maritime user that uh, they they should keep clear of that artificial island to some distance, and that some distance is called the safety zone. And article 60 clause 4, it discuss in depth about it. It said that the coastal state may, where necessary, establish reasonable safety zone around such artificial island, right? So that means it should be reasonable, right? Is reasonable and practical. And it also says that installation and structure in which it may take appropriate measures to ensure the safety both of navigation and other artificial island installation and structure. So that means the coastal state will give a guideline about the safety zone. And in article 60 clause 5, it tells us that how much the coastal state can declare that safety zone. It says that the breadth of the safety zone shall be determined by the coastal state, taking into account applicable international standard, right? So when you are declaring the breadth of the safety zone, you have to take into account the international standard. And it says that the search zone shall be designed to ensure that they are reasonably related to the nature and function of the artificial island installation and structure. And it also says that it shall not exceed a distance of 50 meters around them, right? So that means you can have in safety zone, but it should not be more than it's not, sorry, 15 days, 500 meter, right? It should not be more than 500 meter, right? So that is the debate of the safety zone. Now as we're discussing about artificial island, we need to discuss a bit about the land reclamation as well, because a lot of countries, like a lot of small coastal countries, they have due to the need of their country, they do the land reclamation, and this land reclamation is permitted, right? And that land reclamation is very frequently done by Netherlands, Singapore. They do it, right? And the good part of this land reclamation is that it pushes the normal baseline seaward, right? So if you reclaim a land, that can be used as a base point, as a base point of your for your boundary delimitation, and actually your baseline will be increased seaward, right? And if you reclaim a land, and if you consider it as a reclaimed land, obviously as per UNCLOS, that reclaimed land should be above water all the time. So you see this in Netherlands, this whole area, you see this area here, you see this this is the color of 18th century, right? And this is the color of 20th century, right? So you see this whole area of Netherlands is been reclaimed, right? And they have pushed their maritime boundary to the seaward, right? I can give another example of Singapore. You see this whole area is been reclaimed, right? And Singapore has done it for last 50 years, and they're continuously reclaiming the land, right? So if you want to know more about the artificial island, there are a lot of cases going on in the International Seabed Authority, but I can give you an example of South China Sea case, where actually there are some rock in the South China Sea which China wants to claim as an island, because if they can claim it as an island, then what will happen, they can actually have their own territorial water and territorial contiguous zone and exclusive economic zone. Actually on some rock or low tide elevation. Actually, what China did, China created some this runway, and they have put some economic activity as well, right, to prove it as a to claim it as an island, right. Still that negotiation is going on within the neighboring states, and please go to that one if you want to know more about that. And with that, we finish our third lecture about rock versus island. I hope this will help you to understand the UNCLOS better. Thank you very much. See you in the next class.